is Mark and Charity Mornings.
It's Mark and Charity Coffee Podcast for Friday, October 22nd. Belleville, Ontario, the Quinte region of Eastern Ontario. Just a week ahead of Halloween weekend. We're going to talk to an incredible young man on our next podcast we just spent some time with. He's going to raise money for MS. Bentley Davidson. Became famous as a Gord Downey Halloween costume as a young child. Remember that?
5 years ago.
5 years ago.
Well, and you made the comment when we were talking to Bentley, it made you feel old, but it's hard to believe that it's been 5 years since we lost Gord Downey, because it was when he was on the road and they were touring, and it was after that shortly that he did pass away, and that's why he had dressed up with them. But at the time, he dressed up just for a Halloween costume, and what it has evolved into since that first costume. Great story.
Great story.
And how something so simple and what it has done for a community, giving back to the community through that. And that's a similar story we're going to share with you today.
Carey Durant, what a guy, moved from Toronto to Trenton after what I consider to be a successful hockey career.
Mm-hmm,
and
very
only
successful.
Sidney Crosby has. No. He was a player and he was a coach. Moved up this way and wanted to get involved in the local community by raising money. And it's not very often somebody does it for a long period of time and we don't find out about it.
Yeah, he's been kind of under the radar doing this.
I mean, not everybody, wants to get their name to be famous for it, but usually at some point they tap into you and I to get the word out, makes it easier. But this guy's been doing it really on the quiet for a lot of great reasons. But it started with your husband, Wayne, who is president of your local minor association, got the phone call. And it was such a neat way to find out about it.
Yeah, a minor hockey organization. We live in a small town, a small community. So we're not a larger center. We're not making headlines. And we're just a small community with this hockey organization. And my husband is the president. And he received this message from Carey saying, hey, I'm helping out local hockey organizations. I'd really like to give you some money. And that's what it was. And wait, and not to say no to the money, that we're very appreciative, but it's kind of, you don't get that very often.
Right.
So, and he'd never heard of Carey before. So it's kind of like, oh, okay, sure. Why? What's the catch? What's going on here? What do we like? Because, and that's awful, but there's that side of it too, right?
Well, for sure. No,
why?
Are you the grandfather of a child in here? Because the name doesn't look familiar.
Donations are made, don't get me wrong, but when someone approaches you and say, well, here, I want to do this, well, why? What are you expecting in return? And that's a horrible way to look at it.
Right.
But so Carey and Wayne got talking, and no, this is what he does. He goes around to different minor hockey organizations just to give back. And you mentioned his hockey career. And that's why he spent 35 years coaching. And he said, I got so much out of that by spending time with these kids. I want to get more kids on the ice. I want to help other kids experience this and be able to play. And that's his campaign. All kids should be able to play. So they made a difference in my life. I want to make a difference in their life.
What a guy. We gave him a call. Here it is on the Mark and Charity Morning Coffee Podcast.
Yes, actually right downtown, right in the heart of the city in Regent Park.
Wow.
To Trenton.
Yes, to Trenton. I never ever thought that I would live this far east of this city, but I find myself out here in a wonderful area with great communities and beautiful scenery and lots of places to fish.
Well, it's taken us 15 years to welcome you to town. I feel a little sorry about it. But here's the important thing is that you consider yourself, quote unquote, a transplant. And yet we're going to tell an amazing story about how people help out throughout the pandemic in the communities in ways we never even thought of.
And we're so happy that you're here because, through you're doing quite a bit to give back to this community. Tell us your story first off, Carey. What brought you to Trenton?
I started cottaging up in this area a while ago, and I fell in love with being here. And then I was fortunate enough to be able to go to work for the OPP as a civilian and decided to relocate to come here, and have been here for the last 15 years.
But you also have quite an extensive sports history as well.
I've been really fortunate to be involved with minor hockey and junior A hockey and university hockey over the last 35 years. That was my passion. I was an okay player, wasn't great, so I decided that I would become a coach. And that was my passion, to become a professional hockey coach. And coached ever since up until 2019 when I retired from coaching.
And now you're giving back to some of those minor hockey leagues. You've been giving money to different organizations throughout this community. And I just want to draw some attention to that. So why are you taking this avenue now? And what is your goal by doing this?
Well, when you leave a sport, I miss the kids, and I still want to be very much a positive impact on kids. And I thought, how would I do it better? I fall in love with fishing. I thought, I'm going to try and have this fishing show on YouTube, and I'm going to get 1,000 subscribers to raise money because you get paid for it. I would give the money back to minor hockey, but unfortunately I found out that it's a really slow process. So I just decided I was going to go and open up my own GoFundMe page, speak to all the people that have come through my life, former parents, former players that are now, some of them are playing in the NHL, some of them are just, they're doctors, lawyers, and my players and parents have been unbelievable with me. They've been so generous. And then I took it one step further to start contacting businesses all over from Toronto all the way out here, and to ask people if they would donate money, because I've noticed over 35 years a major decline in minor hockey. The numbers have gone down. Now, there's many reasons for it, but I feel there's a big reason because of registration, the cost of it, the cost of equipment, the cost of ice time. So I just started reaching out to people and asking them for money.
Carey Durant joins us with Mark and Charity this morning, a grassroots fundraiser for minor hockey. And you talked about the cost. You forgot to mention weekend tournaments. Holy smokes, right? Getting involved. But when you are handing over these checks locally, it isn't just in Trenton. It's pretty far afield.
Yeah, I started basically here because this is where I'm based out of now, and I've gone from Trenton up to Warkworth, Campbellford. I've gone back to Scarborough, where Seaside Hockey is starting an inner city development for kids. But I looked at it from both ends because I've got to live in both spectrums. I've got to live in, the greater Toronto area. And I'm very fortunate to be able to live here in this community. And I see the same dynamics with hockey. So I wanted to give back some money, and it doesn't hurt to ask people for money. The worst thing they can do is say no, but most people have said yes. Over 9 weeks, I've raised almost $16,000, and giving that money, I'd like to give some money to the Indigenous community up north and try and spread the wealth throughout the whole province of Ontario if I can.
Now, of course, hockey near and dear to you. You've been heavily involved in it, but you have to admit there is something, and I can relate because I do have my own kids in hockey, but there is something about being involved in a sport. Share with us the importance of giving kids this opportunity.
Whether it's minor hockey, whether it's soccer, or whatever sport it is, I can tell you from my own life experience growing up in the inner city, if it wasn't for sports, most of us kids would have gotten ourselves in some hot water, and I think it really helped me out as a person, not only to keep me off the street, but also, to keep my nose in the books at school, and to keep doing the things that I should be doing as a kid. And, I think everyone thinks about sports in regards to, I think people forget about the single parents, the blended families and all that. There's a lot of kids going through a lot of things right now. And if coaches and people like myself and people like you guys at the radio station, everybody can impact a kid's life, I think it helps change people, and it's the better. And we've just gone through a pandemic. I think it's the toughest time in our lives right now that we'll remember for the longest time. And I think people need positive role models. And I just want to I might not be able to change the whole world, but I'm going to change my little corner by doing what I'm doing.
There's a little starfish organization I see on Twitter. Very quick story on that is that there's a young boy throwing starfish back into the ocean on the beach, and the guy says to him, "There are thousands of them. What do you hope to accomplish? You can't stop it." And he said, "Well, I made a difference to that one." Mm-hmm. That whole, but you would also bring a different perspective because you work for the OPP and you talked about the importance of keeping kids involved. Mm-hmm. Did that also play a role that you've seen now that you're out of hockey and sort of in another side of society to say, boy, it's even more important than I thought?
Absolutely. When I was fortunate enough to get this job, my eyes were really open to what goes on in our communities, because when you're a regular civilian, walking around, people just see the police and they don't realize how big of a positive impact they actually do have on people. And the officers that I work with, I have so much respect for. They've done some amazing things here. And, we were visited by a guy named Joe Roberts You might want to look him up. He's a guy that he was in hockey when he was a kid. His father had died. His mother remarried to a guy that wasn't so nice, and he became a drug addict at 15, moved to Vancouver. He's now a self-made millionaire, married his high school sweetheart, and he told me something that stuck with me so much when I met him, and he had such a big impact on me. He says, I look at kids like they're pennies. Some of them are shiny, some of them are dark, and some of them are dented, some of them are scratched, but they're all worth the same amount. And to me, like the starfish with that boy, that's what I think about kids. Every kid is worth our time of day, and I think that we need to keep reaching out. And if I can just get to one of those kids and be a positive impact, and then that's what my goal was as a coach. And fortunately, I've been fortunate enough to meet some great people and be able to work with a lot of kids. So it's benefited myself, too, as a person to become a better person.
Carrie Durant joins Mark and Charity this morning.
Now, for those who want to help Carrie, help donate and help you with visiting these organizations, how can they help you?
My email address is Carey Durant 1966@gmail.com. I'm on YouTube as Carey D, the fishing guy. I'm on Instagram, Carey Durant. Anybody that wants to contact me, and I'll tell you this, the businesses in Trenton and Belleville have been unbelievable. Like Greek Oasis, Echo Water. I'm going to visit Century 21 today in Belleville, Mandy Jifkins. People have really they've started to contact me to donate, which has been unbelievable because I know with a pandemic, businesses are dying. And, they're trying to rejuvenate themselves, that we're trying to come out of this pandemic. But people have dug deep into their pockets to help this cause, which I don't know how to thank. We'd be here hours if I had time to thank all of them personally, because it's just been, the response has been overwhelming.
Yeah, I can tell by the enthusiasm in your voice when you start talking about the people who back you. So final thought before I let you go, and that's the last sort of, point of the triangle we haven't talked about, and that is the volunteering. Tell me from a life lesson point, once you got out of hockey and got the player, but then you became the coach, what did that round out in your whole thinking of philanthropy that you wouldn't have known had you not taken that on?
You know what? I don't think I would have ever realized, when you play, you talk to coaches and coaches coach you. And as you get older, you realize how much they meant to you. For me, as a coach, I have kids now coming back to me and talking to me later. They have children now. And the best thing as a coach you can ever get is some kid calling you up or some kid messaging you and saying, Coach, you made the biggest difference in me. You were the best coach I ever had. And, will you coach my kids now? So I have to keep telling these kids to stop having kids because they want me to come back and coach their kids. I said at 55, I'm getting long. And don't get me wrong, I just want to mention that, listen, I've had some unbelievable role models in my life too. I mean, Red Berenson from the University of Michigan, Lindsay Hofford, who was the assistant general manager in Arizona, Sudarshan Maharaj, who's one of my best friends. He's the goalie coach for the Anaheim Ducks. I've been fortunate enough to be around a lot of great people, and it's worn off on me. And now just to be that, I want to be that positive guy. There's enough negativity right now in the world. I want to be that positive guy to change people. And
you would, of course, encourage anybody else to volunteer to help kids, right?
Volunteer. Hey, listen, even they don't have to donate to my cause. Just go down to your local minor hockey organization. If you got a few extra dollars and you want to sponsor a kid, you want to sponsor that organization, just go give them money. They'll always accept it, and there's always kids that want to play. And not only kids that want to play, but how do we get the new kids in to play too? Because hockey is declining, and we're trying to find a way to get new kids and new Canadians, people that have moved here, that never have been on ice before. How do we grow the game? And that's what it's all about, growing the game. Well,
and as you quite often say, Carey, all kids should be able to play. So thank you for helping to make that happen, and great job.
Well, listen, thank you very much. This is wonderful that you've had me on and I think it's just another way to create conversation and to get the world out there. So God bless you both. Thank you so much. and have a wonderful day.
Thank you. We really appreciate it. And good luck with your totals.
Thanks so much.
What a great guy. What a great guy. So you may get a
Doing
phone
some
call
good.
from him.
A lot of good.
Saying, do you mind helping out now? You would know why. And virtually, I'm going to guess every single penny, it sounds like, goes right back to minor hockey. And yes, some NHLers are getting phone calls. And what a neat story.
It's a very neat story. Guy. And totally under the radar. Mm-hmm. Like he's not, he wants to get the word out and he wants to create a buzz and get people donating to give back, but he's not.
All about him.
Yeah.
Look what I'm doing.
Yeah.
Yep. What a great guy. Coming up on Monday, we're going to have your Monday morning mashup. It's a bit of a different mashup, if I don't mind saying. Your chance to win with Galaxy of Games as we kick off a week of Halloween. I'm telling you right now, it's a week of Halloween.
I can't wait.
So don't pretend you didn't know what was going on. It's a week of Halloween on Mark and Charity Mornings. And then again, we're going to tell you more about a young man and some great fundraising he and his family are going to be doing. And what costume he's going to wear is what, a 7-year-old? That's a little out there for a 7-year-old. It's coming up Monday morning with Mark and Charity Mornings on 95.5. It's the Mark and Charity Coffee Podcast, about 15 minutes. You'll find it on Spotify, Apple Podcasts, and right here on our social media sites. Be sure to like it so you get the update every day, uploaded every day at about 11 o'clock. Enjoy your weekend, okay, with Mark and Charity Mornings.